Hey, folks. Before the podcast this week, I just have a quick note from the editing bay. The microphones were a little messed up this week. Carlos is really loud. The other two of us are not so loud. So just be warned before the podcast starts that the audio is just kind of iffy this week. Sorry about that. We'll do better next week. Bye.
Welcome to Super Chats. I'm Nick.
I'm Cameron.
I'm Carlos.
And this week we are talking about a couple 3D events that have happened from HoloLive. We're going to talk about a cool new indie VTuber that's not new at all. And we're going to talk about a bunch of other cool stuff that I can't remember right now. So let's just get into it, shall we?
Yeah. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, pretty good. You guys have a good week?
Yeah. It was okay.
It's been a eventful week, aside from my real life, but
Yeah, but no one cares.
neither do I.
Okay. Ouch.
No, life is just something we deal with until we can talk about VTubers.
That's true. That's sad.
So let's start with the biggest VTuber on Earth and how she had a 3D premiere. A debut.
I don't have any funny, witty commentary to add. We're going to talk about Goomba.
I'm going to talk about Gargura.
Wow.
The shark girl that can and will, whether you want her to or not.
The 3-day debut of Gargura. Raise your hand if you saw it.
I saw about half of it,
Yes.
so I'll raise up half.
It's a binary state, Nick.
Okay, listen, shitlord. It's a spectrum. We're going to go ahead and say that it was very interesting. Her transitions
Holy
were on
shit.
point, and yet somehow really strange every time.
This feels like I'm going to prevent myself from taking off because I have a lot of thoughts about it. So I want to hear what you guys thought of it first. Let's start with just kind of like a...
Well, the biggest takeaway from it all is hers was probably the most different out of all of them.
Yes.
Because she
It's
went
very original.
out of all of them, she went for the very least live.
That's
There was
exactly
a
it.
lot of just skits that I don't think most of them were probably live. They might have been, I don't know.
I feel like every time the one guy's 3D animation stopped, we were back to live, just out of pure necessity of it is apparently important these are done live.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand fully the apparatus of what they had set up, how many stagehands they had, who was throwing the shrimp. But I agree
lot
with
of
you
shrimp.
100%. The other girls, their 3D debuts all felt like Japanese variety shows. Like we have them moving around, we have all this prep, all this franticness, all this. Like we're gonna get to it, but Ame's microphone was in her larynx. We were aware when that woman moved and when she drew breath. Gura's was a lot more like, I want to say this as a compliment. She felt like a Zoomer Nickelodeon show.
Yeah, she was very much like, I mean, literally the entire thought was she was flipping through channels and she'd eventually, like, she'd flip through a channel, there'd be a short skit of what was going on the channel.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
there's-
it would flip through. Eventually she'd come back to a live part of it, and then it would go to the segment.
Yeah, exactly. Like she had all these skits based on earlier things she had said. But that's another unique thing about hers. She had a framing device.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the other girls were like, Callie's like, oh man, we're in the 3D hell. How weird is that? Let's lampshade it. And Kiara's like, wow, we're in a distinct restaurant. Gura's like playing it straight. This is an actual like in-universe thing that's happening, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's legitimately just a situation of her flipping through channels and what wacky thing will come up next. It's, the Rick and Morty flipping through channels episodes.
Yeah,
comes to
interdimensional
mind.
cable.
And there were a lot of references in
Holy
it. Like
cow.
every scene was a reference to something.
Smacks on racks.
Some of it was like her own content. Some of it was just like random American TV references.
There were some good ones in there. Yeah. But generally, it just it flowed really well. I'll give it that. Because the variety was intense.
It's very watchable, save for one factor, and this is your mileage may vary. The scenes where you're alone with 3D Gura, you're alone with Gura.
Yeah.
Her improv, her style of humor is just so, God, she's hilarious, but I can see this being like someone's least favorite thing ever. Because she's like walking around going, man, I got these plushies.
Oh yeah, whenever she did the Takamori kiss 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 thing.
Yeah, and like you can tell this lady is really freaking witty. She does not struggle to come up with the next funny thing to say. Like the goldfish line is like, I got 2 fish tanks. That's my bedtime snack. You got snacks, I got fish by my bedside.
She's real good at just coming up with things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's like
Just rolls on stuff. Yeah.
just like when the shrimp were getting thrown at her in the math scene, and just out of nowhere it stopped, and one of them just happens to land too close to her head,
Yeah.
and she just kisses it.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
That couldn't have been intended.
it feels like she's on a substance. It feels like she's just buzzing.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Her first of all, that shark is not good at math.
No, so bad.
I won't say she's dumb, but she's not a math person, and it's very obvious and evident. But yeah, whenever her just getting like piled on by all the Ebby every time she screws up the math question again was just like, it was just comedy gold because she just rolled with it so well and like literally took the lumps as they came.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
so easy recommend. I give this 9 out of 10.
Also, great guests.
Oh god, the guests.
Yeah.
You can tell they pulled out the big guns.
Yeah.
Where it's like no more screwing around here.
So who did we get as guests? Who did we
If
get?
I remember right, it was Marine for sure, and the other one was Pecora, right?
Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other two major juggernauts of the VTuber world.
Yeah, like, here is Pecora, one of the biggest female streamers on the planet, and here is Marine. She's here, and you know what she's going to do.
Yeah.
She
and
has a singular function.
she is massively popular as well. So
Yes.
they brought out the big guns for her, and that's impressive, and it really speaks to her status as a VTuber, frankly.
Mhm. I mean, this is like Hololive has to play fair, but they also have to make it kind of clear they're bowing to the current queen. Like, Gara is the most subscribed to member, if I'm right.
Yeah, she's the most subscribed to VTuber on Earth.
That's it. This is the current queen.
It's just such a huge difference between, like, there are so many that still haven't reached 1 million yet.
Yeah.
And she's selling her 4 million subscriber merch.
Yeah.
She's the only member of Hololive that's passed 2 million, let alone 4 million, I believe. So it really is the fact that she is such a standout talent, and I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. She has some kind of weird preternatural understanding of the way the internet works and flows, and like how the jokes and her personality like flow together, that she can just it's almost like she bends the popularity of the internet to her will, because she exploded. Like, everybody in Japan loves her apparently, and that's like impressive because every like US VTuber fan at least acknowledges that she's popular because she's good. She's like great, you know.
Well, it's a perfect storm where you had someone who had that personality. You gave her what was frankly always going to be one of the most popular designs. Like, a rock could be recording audio into that microphone, it'd still get 1 million subs.
Yeah.
Like, that is just solid for the market they're pandering to. And on top of that, so like alongside the chops and having that good bit of it, she's also blue. That's a guaranteed like 1.5.
Yeah, blue is a good color.
Yeah, blue is the color to do well.
What
And
else? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and going off on her being an English one specifically, too, that's really, really good for the English community because obviously we're the foreigners being English speakers. The foreigners have to prove their worth to the Japanese company. And the fact that she's the biggest in the world as a foreign speaker, that's really good for the community, not just the English, but like the Indonesian or any other non-Japanese speaking ones too.
Building on that, and maybe this is a little bit of an assumption, but I'm just being assumptuous because it's fun. There was a pretty stark correlation between Gura doing numbers, all the other EN girls doing numbers, and a lot of JP girls suddenly announcing they're going to take their English lessons a little more seriously.
Yeah.
Which, it's because they literally prove the market is there. There are cringe lords on both sides of the ocean, and both sides are rich. They got moolah. I will pay $50 so the funny haha Phoenix can see me say little peanut butter. Now she knows I have peanut butter, and it was cheap. It only cost me 50 USD.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, it's definitely one of those situations where if you want to expand at a certain point, you have to appeal to the weebs that speak English.
exactly.
Whenever you've been speaking Japanese the whole time, or vice versa, I suppose too.
So that was a big thing too, is Gura's 3D debut having those big JP streamers as well as herself, who was also huge.
Yeah, I just find it really interesting that so much of her audience is Japanese.
Yeah,
Because she doesn't speak Japanese for anything, you know, like she's got a few phrases here and there. I'm sure she can get around in Tokyo just fine, but it's one of those things where if you dropped her in the countryside of Japan, she'd be lost in the wilderness.
Yeah, the wilderness will consume her.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like, she's only well, there is something wrong with that. But she's only gonna know as much Japanese as she knows, as much as she learns, you know. And I'm not trying to begrudge her, like belittle her efforts at when it comes to learning Japanese or anything. I'm just saying, like, she doesn't speak Japanese quite like Ina does, or Callie or Kiara. And I mean, Ame probably doesn't speak any Japanese at all.
No.
She has a few key phrases, like I said.
There are no mysteries in Japan. What is there to solve?
Yeah, exactly. So, it really comes down to the fact that I lost what I was talking about.
I think that's great that you lost what you were talking about, because I want to talk about the charades since we spoke about the guests.
Okay.
It was mostly Marine sticking her butt out.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's
Are you talking shit?
no. That dumpy built an empire.
100%.
But yeah, like I like the bit where like you have to impersonate Pecora, and Marine just fucking stuck her ass out, and Pecora's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You insulting wench."
I mean, that's who Marine is.
Yeah, it's who she is. She takes the most like indignant direction.
Interestingly enough, I'm pretty sure that's not the first time Pecora has been shown in that light.
There was that time where they did the model swap, if I remember, like everyone got a chance to be Pecora.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Marine that did that to her in that that scene
that was
too.
a callback. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Layers upon layers. Keep up, people. Don't miss an episode.
Yeah, I know,
Not even a single episode, Kaela. Yes, I mean it. She streamed this is off topic.
Go
But
for
it's
it.
also on topic. It's about VTubers. She streamed 19 hours today.
She's a machine.
Like, you
Kaela
look-
does not stop.
You
She
looked
just
at like
goes.
3 hours of a game I never heard of, followed by 2 hours, followed by 6 hours of Minecraft, followed by, oh my god, when did this woman go to bed?
She doesn't sleep. She doesn't need it. She's some sort of a penguin overlord.
She really is.
I remember them talking about it when she first started being a VTuber, that they said she was pulling these crazy hours on top of working a full-time job in the beginning.
Hey.
So
Dude, it always amazes me when they have a full-time job for a while. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, you got to start. There's a process whenever you get any new job where you have to wait a while before the money comes in. You have to make sure your taxes are filed correctly. You need to make sure that you're actually, and especially with a talent-based thing like this, you're going to make the money you're going to make based on what you can pull in. It's interesting because I don't assume they have a set salary. They might, but on top of that, they're getting all of, a third of all their super chats and all the other things that come in for them. So you have to make sure the money flow is there before you can just quit your job, I guess. That is something that would be really interesting to have to deal with.
And Kiara went through a similar thing when she first started out. It's like, oh, I made enough money. Time to buy a microphone.
Yeah. They all went through the process, all of Hollow Myth went through the process of their jobs and then upgrading their microphones, getting Go XLRs, better interfaces.
Buying a house.
Buying
Second house.
Because I know Ina bought a house at least. I'm not sure who else did.
Callie got a new apartment, followed by a new house.
Yeah.
Now, Gura's 3D stream was pretty great. Then we got Ame's.
I haven't watched any of Ame's.
I watched a fair deal of Ame's. I didn't catch it all, I won't lie, but I saw the vast majority of it. It was fun. She played hopscotch. Now, I'm going to need your help, Carlos. I forgot the guests because I'm useless.
I lied to you. I saw Mel was there.
Yeah!
Mel is great.
played hopscotch with Mel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they flirted a lot. It was great.
They did. Ame's still great. She still has a massively dorky sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
She was really cute. She did a cartwheel, if I remember right.
I can believe that.
I think the main reason she did it was she was referencing Coco with that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because
she has the infamous cartwheel that she did.
Yeah, during Coco's graduation, Ame said, I love that during your 3D you did a cartwheel. This is clearly her bringing it back. Also, Ame's unhinged. I think she also was the first to attempt the worm. I'm not sure.
I think Callie did a cartwheel during maybe Gura's loading screens or something.
Yeah.
So I know that she did it at one point too.
I just thought that Ame was down to clown.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
not
Ame in
surprising.
general, though. I mean, Ame goes hard, dude.
Well, Ame's other guest was also Hachima.
Yeah, that's
But-
that's why I had to get back around to watching. I didn't see any of the Hachima.
There was
I can't imagine.
there was zero interaction. It was only for the music. So
They need to interact.
and if she can't, I don't know that much about Ame personally. And if it's true, she doesn't speak any Japanese.
No.
Makes sense. Couldn't really talk to Hachima too much.
Joe Mano, sorry.
Hachima can speak some English, so there is that. But
I feel as though they are currently not allowed to speak the same language, the same way you keep the components of explosives apart until you are ready.
Hachima, I mean, like, I can't imagine Hachima's manager's life. So anybody who doesn't know who Hachima is out there, she is a wonderful member of Hololive. She is completely insane, and sometimes she gets bored and decides to character assassinate herself.
If you don't know who Hachima is, but you know who we are, send us an email.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd like to have you on the show.
Just look up her entire arc of after she started eating spiders, and like then she came up with her own anime and just made it. She is a fascinating individual, and I think she's a great VTuber, but
The South Park of VTubers.
100%. She is she rides the line hard. At one point, she reviewed her own lingerie. She has done multiple streams where she reviewed like her own lewds.
Oh, fuck, I forgot she did those.
Yeah, like she is just some sort of gremlin, and it's wonderful. She's hilarious.
I remember that wasn't even spontaneous either. She actually took applications for art too.
Yeah.
She made a trailer for it and everything.
The fact that they brought her on with Ame is amazing because I mean Ame has gremlin energy, but not like goblin mode gremlin energy like
Yeah, but
Hachima does.
she is like the prankster of this gen.
Yeah.
Because like Gura's a gremlin, but she doesn't prank folks. She just does like little talks. She'll get on you about something, but Ame like plans shit ahead of time.
Gura famously does prank people by asking about Owen Wilson in the hit movie Cars.
Well, there's a reason that Gura and Ame
Vibe really
are
hard.
such fucking good friends.
Yeah, dude, Ame Same is a thing for a reason.
I mean, back when I was starting out actually enjoying Hololive again, whenever those two did shit together, it's like, oh, this is gonna be good.
We'll come back to that friendship in the off collab they
Yes,
did.
we will.
So
Oh my god, yeah, we will. So, moving forward then, we do have to say that Ame's 3D was probably very successful, it seems like.
Yeah, I was very pleased with it.
I will say personally, I think out of all of the 3D models, I think I like Ame's the best.
Yeah,
It's really good. I have
Ame's
seen
is
some of it.
really cute.
It's really, really detailed, really flowy. Like all the clothes are super well done.
Rendered very well, very interactive, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I think that I don't watch a lot of Ame stuff, honestly. If there was one person from Myth I was going to miss their 3D debut, unfortunately, it was going to be Ame. And that's not necessarily fair to her because I just think that like I just don't vibe on her content a whole lot. She's really, really good at what she does. And she's amazing because she really likes monkeys and moss. And she loves talking about like animals. She very obviously really cares about animals. I think she's the only EN member or really any HoloLive member that's ever done a charity stream. And she hit her goals in the charity stream before it started. Because when whale's gonna simp's gonna whale.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody immediately dumped all of their cash into her pockets and it was just like, go save the animals. And she was just like, you guys suck. I had like donation incentives and they're all hit. Like,
Yeah, if I were to make the case for her, it's that she tends to play whatever she wants, and I really enjoy the VTubers who play the games they want to play. She plays a lot of Apex and gets salty.
she does.
Oh god, I meant to talk about this at one point. I'd have to pull it up again. Ame has been like through a weird life. Someone on Reddit compiled all the injuries she's ever had.
It's a lot.
And it's like one for each bite. Apparently at some point she got kidnapped. Like Ame has had a life.
Yeah, she seems just like a very outdoorsy person.
She
in
seems
general.
unfazed by
Yeah.
how much life she's had.
That also comes up in the off collab.
And this sucks because I did the off clap's the only thing I didn't get around to. And I saw some clips from it. It was funny. It's like I'm gonna sob if I'm the only one who didn't see it.
I've seen about half of it again. I've been a very busy boy recently.
Yeah. Do you guys mind
So-
if we pause the podcast so I can watch it real quick?
Yes.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking the audience.
No, shut the fuck up.
Deafening silence. Moving on.
So I've seen about half the collab. It was really good, really, really entertaining. I think I had to go do some work at the point where I was at and just never got back to it. But from what I can remember, they started off doing... I don't know if they started off, but I did watch the part where they were doing the Am I Lying or Not?
Oh yeah, the MI
Actually,
line
sorry,
guy
that was a
thing.
different stream.
Yeah, you
Because
fool.
they've done 2 3D collaboration streams now.
Yes. The first one was the remake of the original Ame interrogation.
Yeah, and then they beat the crap out of her.
Yeah.
It was great. So, have you seen that, Carlos?
I don't think so, actually.
Oh, okay. So it starts off, Ame, like 2 years ago, said that whenever they did like 3D and they got everybody there. She wanted everyone to beat the crap out of her.
And that happened.
And they made it happen. So she interrogated everybody and was just like, girl, let me see that tail. And then, you know, whatever other weird thing she said. And then eventually all of the girls revolted and just threw her on the ground and started kicking the crap out of her. My favorite part was Kiara was just like, I feel bad. She was like, I don't want to hurt her.
I like how Kiara is like that then, but she's usually like, you little bitch.
Yeah, you little shit.
Oh, you little shit.
Everybody's a little shit whenever they pick on her. But yeah, she didn't want to hurt Ame. Why would you want to hurt Ame? Ame's a goofball.
She ground pounded your mother.
That's right. Anyways, so that was a really fun segment from that stream.
Yeah.
Like I accidentally led into earlier, they've done another 3D collaboration stream. They did it as a game show. Ina lost because
Too trusting.
The entire point of the game show was to lie to people successfully, and Ina cannot do that because Ina is a cinnamon roll.
I think the only part I even saw that was that Gura made mashed potatoes with a body massager in her hands.
That is not shocking to me at all.
No, not at all. And she tried to justify it too because it was a truth. The people who had the most points was Gura and Ame, which I believe that's what you wanted to bring up earlier.
So this is all from a previous stream they did. Man, they copied a lot of that same stuff for the one they did, like for the one that they just did.
Oh, this is the one they just did. This is the one they just did.
Oh, okay.
We're discussing the same stream.
Okay.
We're crossing the streams even.
Yeah, so
Okay.
their newest one, their second 3D collab,
Okay.
is what we're talking about. Because they did the Believer or Not Believer, which is what I was talking about, the game show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what else they did after that though. 'Cause
There's
that
the
was
3D
second one.
interrogation, then Believer, Not Believer.
Yeah, the 3D interrogation was the first 3D
Yes.
collab.
Yes.
The Believer or Not Believer is the second 3D collab.
Yes.
So there's two different streams.
There may be a third, maybe a fourth. It's probably done after that.
Probably. I mean, everybody's got to get out of Japan eventually.
Yeah, roll credits. That's it for Hololive. Glad you guys enjoyed.
Yeah.
No sequels are planned at the moment. The director is burnt out.
See you at the Superfest.
Yeah. We'll reveal the characters. We'll do an AMA. We'll talk about our casting decisions. The writers' rooms here. Here's our cast of writers are revealed. We pocketed
Credits
all the
roll.
money. We burned it.
The right way to do it.
Well, this off collab that they just did really showed exactly their personalities that really came out in this one.
Would you consider the 3D collabs a success?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Catastrophic failure. I unsubbed immediately.
I thought they were great. Very funny, very endearing. Everybody came through with their personalities in a great way.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they meshed like always. And they finally got to hug each other in real life on a stream and show everybody their love.
That was important for Ina.
It was.
Yeah.
The hug collector. She's got to be up to like 30, 40 hugs by now.
Yeah, it was important.
Yeah. She's gotten like half the JP folks, all the ENs except for, I don't know about Council, but, or Iris for that matter.
They don't want hugs.
They need hugs.
They want slaps.
They're getting
They want to be harmed.
That's not what Ina does. Ina causes no harm.
They'll slap her.
They better not. Otherwise, the tentacles come out. Speaking of, there was a really good short that they put out of Callie being trapped inside Ina's tentacles and just at the end being like, "Kill me." I've watched it like 30 times. It's really good. Anyways,
I wish I could die.
Oh yeah, back to that.
Do you want to segue off from that, Carlos?
I was just gonna say back to that off collab they did real quick.
okay.
So I didn't, like it was said earlier, I didn't know too much about Ame before. And then after seeing the types of questions, and I thought I wrote it down. It's like I think of her kind of this way. And then I was scrolling through Reddit, and it's like I'm not the only one to have now called her an authentic Florida man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Ame.
Yeah.
She's got some pretty good chaos energy going in general.
Considering all three of her stories actually involved almost dying from water in some way.
Yep.
Yeah, she floated out to sea at one point, I think.
Yep.
And
The floating out to sea was the one that was real.
Yeah.
There we go. This is a very old post. This is from 2020.
Okay, good.
I'm stealing this from Reddit, so let me credit the person who did it, even though it's been a bit. U/overdeer, DERE, Derry. Thank you again for this. Hit head on drawer while jumping. Got her famous head hole. Had eyelid cut from a flying piece of ice from a thrown cup of beer. Slipped and bit her tongue. Nearly came off. Got permanent ear damage from being near speakers in a concert. Ball to the face, knocked off 3 teeth. Arm crushed by big dude in mosh pit.
So she moshes.
Yeah,
Very
she
good.
moshes.
I knew she is.
Bitten by dogs in the face, hand, arm, almost throat. Thumb piece cut off from trying to peel with a knife.
Oh, that can happen to anyone.
Ankle ran over by car wheel, scraped off a bunch of skin.
That can happen to anyone.
Bike she was riding was kicked, scraped her knee. Left inside a hot car, hot enough to melt crayons.
She is very lucky to still be with us and be the anime girl
And again,
we know today.
she almost died in the ocean, and she was kidnapped.
She has definitely lived a life. Is she a drug smuggler or something?
No,
I mean, she does
knowingly.
have Watson's concoction.
She does have Watson's concoction, but this is a legal concoction.
Sure. I believe that any day of the week.
She's also licensed to remove morb.
That I don't doubt.
She's a
guess.
physician. Registered. Not in the state you live in, but a nearby one.
I'm gonna have to see her credentials.
That's the thing about credentials is you can't see them until the surgery's done.
I feel like you're making shit up, Cam.
It's like a spoiler. It's like, surprise, your doctor was licensed. Like, come on, don't ruin this.
That explains a lot about American healthcare.
Hey, that's a hot take. Is it though?
No, it's pretty lukewarm at this point.
It's a bitter cold take. I'm freezing. Ouch. Oof. Owie. Discuss the next topic.
Okay. Roboco-san is now 5 years old. Let me rephrase that. Roboco-san has hit her 5-year anniversary as a member of Hololive.
Oh, congratulations.
Hey,
Roboco.
she's a robot. She might actually be 5.
Just
I mean,
like
that's
Bay is
true.
literally 12.
It's true. Roboco-san, as we mentioned last week, is a really funny, really endearing member of Hololive, and she's been around for pretty much most of it. Almost all of it at this point, obviously, if she's 5 years in on her run. She did get a couple new hairstyles. She got some long, bushy twin tails. She got some short twin tails.
I saw the twin toes.
Yeah, they're very cute.
I'm partial to them.
They're very cute. She also got I don't know if it was new or not, but I did see a really good screen grab of her with an eye patch and the short twin tails. Very Chunibyo.
It's got the matching set now.
Yeah. It's fantastic. So I think overall, like, Roboco-san's just a good egg. I haven't really watched a whole lot of her 5-year anniversary stream that she did, but I've heard good things. Everybody was saying it was really good. So.
I watched a little bit of it, but considering I don't speak a single word of Japanese, I didn't get a whole lot out of it other than she's cute.
Honestly, I think that's one of the big hang-ups with the podcast is none of us speak Japanese.
Get over it. It's fine.
No, I think we do need to have like a 4th member on the podcast, which if you want to be that. What a great running gag. I'm sure it's still funny.
So, but that's the beauty of Hololive. And Fubuki has called this out very specifically in the past. At some point, you can just not listen to what they're saying and go, they're cute, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for the cute.
I have never understood Fubuki.
I have a few times.
I understand.
great, dude.
I understand when she says "not wife."
Not wife.
Yeah.
Good friend. Hamburger's delicious.
Hello, Jared
Jared
Leto.
Leto.
Wow, Jared Leto.
Jared Leto, restraining order, please. If you ever, we talked about this earlier. We watched the clip of her talking to Jared Leto. If you ever want like 10 minutes of just the cringiest fucking experience, just watch her interview Jared Leto. It is the weirdest thing you'll ever fucking watch. If you haven't seen it somehow, it's fantastic.
Hello, Fubuki. You have a lovely voice. Have you considered singing? I was in Morbius.
You're my kind of fox. He actually says that to her. He says, "You're my kind of fox." He asks her if she eats birds and rodents, and she's like, "I used to." Like,
I'd
it's
give up
just
a habit like that too.
It's like a great conversation. Just a couple of friends hanging out and having a beer.
So
you
yeah,
know?
I bet you've got some muscle on under there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny. It's funny. He'd say, "Do you eat small rats?" No, but you mail them to your co-stars, weirdo.
Exactly.
We like to be clear about our stances on this podcast. Like,
Jared Leto's a fucking freak.
Jared Leto, are you watching? You're probably watching. You're like, whatever happened to Fubuki? Super Chats may discuss it because you know us. You need to get a little bit better at acting. You're okay in Blade Runner,
He was great in Blade
but
Runner.
that's because your only job was to shoot a scenery like a beaver making a dam. Anytime the weight falls on you to carry, dude, the whole world can see how little you're capable of it, at least in the specific instances you put forward. Stop the method actor thing. Focus on how, like, you have a pretty good cadence, you have a good tone. Stop over-delivering. You're kind of funny in Morbius. You had good delivery throughout it. Just, man, that script failed you and that director. Please try harder. Be less weird, less cult stuff. Unlike us, who just watch HoloLive normally and healthfully.
There is no cult. Anyways. So yeah, again, like, I was pretty angry there at Jared Leto for a second, but
Yeah.
I think he was really good in Blade Runner personally.
No, he was fine in Blade Runner. I'm just upset that the role that he got was supposed to be for David Bowie before he got sick.
I mean, you can be upset about that all you want, but David Bowie still got sick. It's sad.
Yeah,
It sucks. And David Bowie was a hell of a human. He would have been fantastic in it, but it was not an option at the time. And
I know,
that's just
but
the truth of it.
Jared Leto eats scenery. David Bowie licks it sensually.
David Bowie was sex as a human. Like,
Hello, Deckard. Like, so yeah, this is a big moment. People who like HoloLive and Blade Runner, that crossover, those guys are having a blast.
oh yeah, nobody else.
Just,
Everybody else is just like, this guy's really creepy, and he seems to be making. I don't know if he's making Fubuki as uncomfortable as he's making me. But
yeah.
it's a wild conversation. So again, if you get the chance and you want to watch something that you're gonna cringe at for a long time, give it a shot. It's great. All right, what else happened this week? Come on, give me something.
Well, it looks like you had put down that we wanted to talk about Callie and Hologra.
Yeah, she was great. Moving on.
Okay.
So Callie was in Hologra. She had her Hologra debut this week.
I am ashamed. As the Callie stan, I never got around to seeing this one.
Oh, it's fantastic. She kills Shion.
Good. Wait. Wait, I like Shion.
So the central conceit of this animation, pushes glasses up nose. The entire plot is that Shion walks up or like flies over to the roof of the HoloLive building, and there's Callie standing around near a bunch of other characters who appear to be dead.
Oh my god, Callie killed
no!
him for real.
Shion freaks out, and like Callie chases her because Callie's like, "No, it's a misunderstanding." And then eventually, when she catches Shion, like Shion fires a bunch of witch lasers at her, and so Callie just reaps her soul real quick. You gotta do what you gotta do. Shion wakes up a little while later. She's like, "Yeah, I gotta put your soul back in your body. You were like freaking out really hard. Everyone's just drunk." And then everybody was just drunk. And if you noticed Lamy was there, you would have known that from the fucking start because Lamy's always drunk. That's why she's great. She's not a Yuki Onna. Anyway, deep cut for the Lamy fans out there. We appreciate all three of you. She does not get clipped enough. She's a fucking gem. I think I've taken us on a bit of a tangent here.
I think that'd be a good sub podcast.
What? What's that?
The Lamy fans, just like all three of you guys can get together.
Yeah, dude, come on. We'll talk. I appreciate everyone for their differences and their unique abilities in HoloLive.
It's very second grade of you.
I do my best.
Hey, we could
Do
go
unto others as you do unto you.
we could go off of that too, though, because Ina collabed with her.
Yeah.
And it was a fantastic collab.
Of course, it was another drinking collab that Ina appears to really be getting into that kind of stuff.
Are you telling me the Lamy was drinking? Is it a day that ends in Y? Because
Are we doing this? Are we doing like cohesive segues in the cast of the pod?
no, not really.
That was almost perfect. Oh shit.
So yes, Lamy and Ina had a great collab. They did an off collab. They were drinking. They were hanging out. They were having fun. There was so much Tay content if you're into that. We learned a lot about Ina.
I didn't get to watch too much of that,
I'd like to hear
unfortunately, yet.
I've only watched the clips because, again, I don't speak Japanese, and the entire collaboration was in Japanese.
Yeah.
So fluent.
Yeah, and so a lot of it was just like Ina saying that she wants to learn more Japanese, and Lamy's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You're speaking Japanese fluently."
Yeah.
And Ina's like, "But I want to be able to read all the kanji," and Lamy's like,
No one can.
"Good luck." It's a bunch of stuff like that. They get a little tipsy. They just talk it out. They just have a great stream.
Yeah, shoot the shit.
Again, look up the clips. I can't tell you who the clipper is that I watched specifically, but there's a ton out there right now. It's very cute. It's a very good collab.
Yeah, Ina, ever since she came back from her break, she's really just
Oh, she's been so different.
she's really just been going all out.
She's got more pepper in the cylinder.
Which is good. That's probably the big reason that she needed a break, was because she just needed to recover a lot of that.
I am burnt out. I have tangible physical health issues. Maybe dying.
I believe isn't she anemic?
I think she did say that she's anemic.
Yeah.
So that's pretty rough on you physically if you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're streaming every day, it can lead you down a bad rabbit hole of just not taking care of your body the way that it needs to be taken care of.
Good rabbit hole, Vtuber.
Yes.
Bad rabbit hole, physical deterioration.
100%, yes. So again, if she needs to take her time off and recover and get better anytime, go for it. It's the same with Botan. Just got back off of a short break. She had, I think, something wrong with her throat for a few days, or she was just sick in general. I don't really remember. But
Are you sure
she's
she
better
was
now.
telling the truth?
It's
Maybe
hard-
she was lying.
You're off the podcast.
See you guys.
We've uncameroned the podcast, much like Corona got undoggoed in Yokai Watch, the
No
anime.
way.
Oh, Cam's back. Good.
I'm a different Cameron. I don't do puns.
Oh, perfect. It's okay, because those are my domain.
You don't have to hound me about it.
Okay.
To be fair, we were talking about Ina. What'd you expect?
I mean, that's actually completely fair.
Continue.
So Corona, she got to do a full anime appearance, and that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
She was only on the anime for about 4 seconds. She had 3 lines.
She was on an anime intended for children to
Which makes
purchase a
sense.
video game that will no longer be released in the West, I believe.
It's unfortunate that they had to remove her ears in order for her to be in that anime.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If a cat gets hit by a truck, it gets to be a cool Pokemon ghost. But a woman with dog ears is strange and bizarre.
Yes. That's the rules. Welcome to whatever anime is. So, she is just a background character. She's sitting at a desk eating ramen. The characters run by, steal her ramen, and then she cries. That is her entire appearance. Again, it's like it's honestly like a 10-second segment. It's a throwaway joke, but her character in the anime is just her without dog ears.
Yeah.
And then she voices it. It's wonderful. It's really cool. I love when Corona gets these like interesting crossovers like she did with the Sonic franchise.
Yeah.
She's done so much work for Sonic to the point where like in Sonic, what's the most recent Sonic game? Shoot, what is it?
It was Sonic Frontiers.
Sonic Frontiers. There's a code or something you can put in, and then like a bunch of her like listener representatives show up.
Wah-wahs, yeah.
Yeah. They just show up and like swarm the map for a few seconds and then leave.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
like, her crossovers are fantastic. I loved Did you ever see? She did a let's play.
A stream, you dumbass.
Yeah, what year is it? Jesus. She did a stream where she played Doom. And Doom 2016.
Her Doom saga.
Yeah.
And that's what brought me into the rabbit hole. 100%.
That's a good rabbit hole
I
story.
love it. I love Corona when she loves chainsaws. And they actually put a reference in the follow-up Doom,
Yeah, Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal,
Doog.
but they then had to remove for legal reasons because there's some company called Doog
Yeah.
or something.
Aw.
So like it sucks because they had to remove the reference, but it did exist. You can find videos of it on YouTube.
It's such a good
It's
fucking
fantastic.
reference. Like, first of all, way to out that everyone in UI is a fucking weeb.
100%. I mean, but she has also received gifts from numerous developers in the
Mm-hmm.
past after streaming her game. The one developer, like, I can't remember what the game is, okay, 100%, but
Mm-hmm.
she really loved one sound effect in the game, so he just sent her an MP3 of the sound like, on Twitter. or
Oh, that's
whatever.
so awesome.
He just DM'd it to her and was like, "Here you go. You can have the sound. You can use it whenever you want." And it's just I love when that stuff happens for her because she's such a good
She's such a gem of a person. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
she's so entertaining, so happy.
She's the one that dragged me kicking and screaming down into the rabbit hole.
She's one of the early like JP ones for me
Yeah.
that got me into it.
Well, she was one of the ones that the algorithm blessed. Like, I
100%.
think we said it in an episode that will never be seen about how a part of me getting into it was Ekum Bokum.
Yeah, and that was an enormous thing.
We'll
She-
probably have this conversation again, but I genuinely believe Ekum Bokum is the reason we got all this.
Mhm.
I genuinely believe it.
It spread like wildfire and really introduced a ton of people to it.
Because now
Too
there's
many snacks done work.
too many snacks. If you're watching, I love you.
We all do. Your animations are fantastic, and ever since the old days of Two Snacks, cheers to you.
Maybe one day Luna will get off the moon.
Hush you. That's a different podcast. Tune in next week.
No! Welcome back to an academic reading of Funny Horse Show.
So, what else happened this week, you ask?
Oh, also, before we move on to that,
Oh, yeah. Come on.
go ahead.
that wasn't the only interesting thing that Corona did here just this week.
What else happened for her?
She also played a fireworks simulator.
What?
Oh, that's a great game.
Okay.
I enjoyed when Subaru played that, but go ahead.
Man, she loved every second of that. She was laughing her head off the whole time.
I can very easily picture that. I'm going to have to look up the stream later.
Yeah, and the stream didn't really end exactly.
What?
She decided to put a lot of fireworks on the screen, like a lot, like way too many.
Filled up the entire screen with fireworks kind of situation.
And her stream ends with her cackling in the background. The screen is frozen, and then the stream breaks.
Yes!
She crashed the whole PC. I love it.
That's the best way to end anything.
Remember when Gura killed 2 computers in a week?
Yeah.
That's my first thought.
And she never went back to it. It was never referenced again. She didn't start the stream again.
You don't.
At that point, you're just kind of like, all right, that was a good ending.
You may rest now, PC. Good night.
Small tangent real quick. My friends and I used to have a Minecraft server we did that with.
Yeah.
We all joined on the server, except for the one friend who owned the server. Filled up an entire mountain with TNT and then set it all off at once.
Yeah.
It was great because it went from 60 FPS Minecraft to frame of explosion,
Yeah.
frame of explosion, frame of explosion. You have been disconnected.
Screenshots are being emailed at the sender's earliest convenience.
Yeah, and this Corona situation harkens back to a good time for me because then we had to call the friend and be like, we broke it.
Turn server back on, please.
Yeah. So it's whenever you push a game to its very limits and it crashes your entire stream, that's pretty impressive, frankly. I love that. That kind of stuff just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, it was so entertaining though. Just watching her set all those fireworks off and screaming her head off, running away from them.
It's not on the outline, but while we're talking about interesting streams, didn't watch a whole ton of them, but Fauna was having a very cursed week again.
It's Fauna. What do you expect?
I know.
That's becoming more and more regular.
Yeah, but she was talking like her thumbnail for Penumbra was like, "Help! My brain parasite can't be this cute."
Yeah, like it's literally coming out of her brain.
Yeah, and then she, like during one stream, she was talking about like how she used to like to leave gummy worms out in the sun so they would get hard so she could eat them and make her jaw hurt.
Fauna, if you're watching,
Fauna.
we love you for being you, and that's what matters. You unhinged psychopathic human being
I'm not trying that.
/ tree.
Kieran.
She's a tree.
She's a tree.
She'd like to be a tree.
She wants you to be a tree. She wants all her saplings to be trees. Much like in the hit movie. What was it? Trolls 2?
Sure, why not?
No logs, goblins, backwards.
But you telling me about more unhinged things that Fauna has done
Yes.
and said is just nothing surprising to me. I don't think anything is going to beat her just laughing for 3 minutes straight
At the fucking truck.
at the truck being stuck on its face while music plays in the background dramatically. And then she just ends the stream because she's like, I can't do better.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I just know that like her Skyrim stream was just 5 hours of cursed discussions and her being a weirdo.
Yeah.
And you even showed me a clip where like she was a wingman for another like weirdo shit during the Apex tourney.
She's just a nut job. And it's great. Not unironic because of her tree status.
Yeah, I would, every generation I feel like there's the slow hitter. The girl that comes up out of nowhere is like, oh shit, this girl's fucking fantastic. I just took her a bit. Fauna for me is that, where it's like, she took a bit, but it was right when the crony Civil War Minecraft arc hit. It's like, oh, Fauna's fucking really funny.
She's super entertaining.
Because like, I don't really care about the SMR stuff. And when she presents herself as only that, it's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to really enjoy this one, am I? Because I don't really want to do that. But then she starts being like a strange person, and the ASMR is really good.
Yeah, she's queen of ENES ASMR for a reason.
Yeah, like they brought her on. Like, you know, Callie Fauna wraps a towel around your head and then rubs the ears for a strange amount of time, and then calls you brother.
Brother. It's been too long.
I remember Fauna is like just self-admitted. I think it was one of her Pokemon streams, I believe, where she's just admitted that like, hey, I was like just not real super confident in the beginning, but she's gotten a lot more confident over time.
She needed to take time to understand how much of her power level she could display. Is what it was. I feel like because like, and again with every insane person, this is the case. The ones that are successful at it, they boil the frog. You know, they increase the temperature over time so that that the saplings don't jump out of the water.
So that's the thing. I'd say most live streamers boil the frog. Like they start like, how rigid do I have to be? How in character do I have to be? How much do I have to do this? How much do I have to do that? How do I say this stuff? But then you get the ones that sizzle the fucking frog, drop the frog into the deep fryer. Example I'd say right away is Crony. I think she started how she was always going to be and hasn't changed.
She's much happier now.
She is happier, but she's still egotistical, unhinged, challenging.
Well, that's because she's also found people that are willing to go along with it now.
Yeah.
Like Vesper.
God.
Maybe unwillingly on his part. But
the legendary Collabs.
Such a fucking tag team.
Oh my god.
Crony's such a weirdo.
They all are. They're all fucking freaks.
I know.
I love them.
Crony's a different genre of weird.
Again, I think it comes down to the fact that like Myth is all super hardworking, driven individuals, and Ina. And and then you have Council, who is just fucking weird. All of them are insane Zoomers, and I don't understand them a lot of the time because I'm ancient. But
that's why they keep grabbing Gura, because Gura, like, in another life, Gura was in Council.
Oh yeah, definitely. She's Goblin mode, and
like,
so is Ame. But like, they're also like super hardworking, like over the top levels.
But like,
and I'm not saying that the girls of Council aren't, especially Iris, because Iris works her butt off.
Yeah.
But like, they just seem to have a more chill vibe about them in general, and also they slap each other.
Yeah. Well, they don't have to prove shit.
Yeah.
English VTubers are here to stay. Please cope.
Yeah, I guess that's part of it too when you think about it. Because Myth had to blaze the path for EN VTubers.
Myth, at the end of every email they got from management, no matter how positive, had small 11-point font that said, by the way, if you fuck up, we're closing the branch forever.
Yeah. I wouldn't be the first time they've done that.
Yeah.
Like, and it is, there were extenuating legal circumstances there as well. If you don't know about HoloLive China, it became illegal to live stream that way in China.
Google very cautiously.
There was an entire political situation involved with it as well. It sucks because when I was first coming into the VTuber fold, one of the first streams I ended up watching is probably a couple months after I started watching in general. But I watched as HoloLive China closed down.
Yeah.
And it was supremely depressing because that was one of the first like impactful moments I had when I was watching VTubers, was watching. And I you'll have to forgive me, I don't remember what her name was. But I remember her fan base was called Lunites or something. She was a moon-themed VTuber for HoloLive China. And she was very interesting. She spoke English, so I could watch it. And her graduation stream was like really impactful because that's like, I mean, she cried during it at the end and stuff. And it was very emotional. It was the first graduation stream I ever watched. And I didn't really understand what was happening at the time.
Knowing
what school is she graduating from, at least?
HoloLive China.
Did she get a degree?
7, actually. But yeah, it was just the first graduation. That was my introduction to the idea of it.
And knowing how the Chinese, weeb base is in the world, they could have surpassed like the JP branch easily.
Yeah, it's just like, damn it, HoloLive closed. Well, back to Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
But
I have other things we can do, I suppose.
I think the Chinese branch was around for less than a year.
Yeah, it was.
It was not
It did not survive the market.
But it wasn't for lack of trying or lack of market. It was lots of political things.
And that's just it. You can't really help whenever the laws change and it becomes illegal to live stream in your country like that. What are they going to do? Well, obviously, there was a lot of political stuff going on, too, especially with, it was Coco and I think Hachama was tied in as well with that whole thing.
Oh,
there was another VTuber that was tied in with it. I think it was Hachama.
I think it was.
And so there was just a lot of heat at the time in general.
And that could be a whole episode.
Yeah, we could definitely go into a
This is
full-on
one of the most
breakdown of that.
detailed events that had probably some of the largest meaning for what happened.
Yeah.
Especially considering like at the time when Coco was around, it was not HoloLive like at the time. It was Coco.
Yeah.
She was HoloLive at the
100%.
time.
It was Sivia, by the way, was the HoloLive Chinese member that I HoloLive China. It was Sivia that was the HoloLive China member that I was thinking of.
Mhm.
So I really liked the one stream I got to see of her.
I think it'd be cool if we could have her on the podcast.
We'll reach out. We'll get our people involved.
All right, I'll get out my Google Translate.
Yeah.
She spoke English. She was her graduation was in English. Yeah, there were 2 generations of HoloLive China. Again, we can get into this. We could do a special one-off where we talk about that and go into the whole situation.
This is
at
when we
some
start
point.
the Patreon episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Super chats after dark. That'll be
Yep, we've discussed this prior.
That'll be episode 2. Episode 1 being the mask off episode where we just we just talk about real facts.
We'll discuss the fall of HoloLive China whilst naked. Just like
Tune in.
Or the real shame what happened. Slaps tit.
Yeah, we have to post that on a different service entirely.
Yeah.
So look out for that in the future. Oh man! Also, did you know Miko did a concert this week?
No way.
It was really good. I've only seen a few highlights. My favorite part is the fact that she sang "Viva Happy" with Subaru, and I love that song because I am a Hatsune Miku fan from back in the day. So hearing that song in general, made
no
me
one
happy.
else here likes Hatsune Miku.
Yeah, well, I know. That's fine. I'm okay. I've been a freak my whole life. Why change now?
Yeah.
But she had 13 guests on. I mean, it was a full concert, a 60-minute concert, I think.
That's a lot of people. Like, set aside your day. I'm doing a concert. Hop in.
Mm-hmm. But it was all of it that I've watched was really good. She got a new outfit. She's got a school design now, schoolgirl design.
Mm-hmm.
She already had like the baby design, so I guess she's just going through her different phases of life bit by bit as she goes.
I've never related more to someone.
Wait till we get to the grandma outfit.
HoloLive, make it happen. We want Granny Miko.
No comment. I choose to have no comment.
All right. Miko having a birthday is great and big news, but what if I want a cardboard cutout that's 30 feet tall?
Jesus Christ. Let me pull it back up.
You know, I wonder if you contacted that beautiful human being. I genuinely wonder if you contacted him, if he would sell you one.
I want one of his ames at least.
One of his 30 ames.
I want the giant 1.5 tennis court sized Kiara, please.
User u/meanforce1 continues yet again to earn a relegated regal slot inside of our
Collective consciousness.
our great podcast because he refuses to stop producing several simulacrum of VTubers, which is to say he has like a 32-foot fucking tall Yagu.
He does. He has a giant 30-foot He has a couple giant 30-foot Moris.
Doesn't he have he has what 2 or 3 Moris?
He's got several dozen Ames by appearance. He's got an Ame army. And he has a giant Tencho, which I want.
Sanest HoloLive fan.
Easy. So I don't know who you are, sir, or madam. I don't. In the pictures, you seem to present male, but I wouldn't like to assume. I don't know who you are. I respect you. Your power level is immense. It's off the charts, and I'm glad that you're living your best life. Are you also the person who used to have a Luna cutout that would just take her places? That's a question that's on the side. Also, how do we get some of these cutouts for our background?
Unironically.
Can we sit in front of a giant Yago face and podcast for
I
an
would
hour?
like to have a Yagu or like a Bay that like we throw and hit each other with.
That'd be pretty great.
That'd
yeah.
be pretty great.
We just need a Yago one, put it right up here, just right up in the middle,
No.
and then we just have to surround him by others.
No, you must open your mind. He's behind the curtains.
And then we just peek the
We
curtain
open
a
him up,
little.
everyone's like,
Yeah.
how's the dream, buddy?
I think that would be great. Again, I don't know who this person is. I haven't done a lot of research or reading about them, but they just continue to make giant paper cutouts of different HoloLive members and staff, and it's great every time. They post on Reddit. They show you a ton of different cutouts that they've made. This one was from like 6 days ago, and it's just like the biggest projects, it seems like. There's a giant Hachima, there's a giant Bakura, and a giant Marine. There's an entire room with all walls covered in prints.
You know, those really awkward, like, weeb pictures you see on the internet of people that have filled their full rooms of nothing but body pillows?
Yeah, rate my setup.
That's his room, only with VTuber prints.
Yeah. So
More than one room.
maybe I'll throw a link in the description down below if you're watching on YouTube. But it's there's a lot. It's really cool that he's doing it. I assume he owns a print shop. I think we talked about this earlier, but it's why? Just why? I don't understand it. But again, like the giant Yago like background for us, that'd be great. Just let us know. How much would that cost?
Do you do payment plans?
That's the other question. That's a good question. 0% financing?
Can we affirm this?
I think my credit limit's high enough.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. So one of the other things coming up that's really interesting right now that we have just found out about today, and it's the cutoff for signing up for it. So sorry if you're learning about it from us. It's too late for you.
You should probably not rely on us.
Yeah. We're kind of stupid. But Anime Boston is happening in early to mid-April.
It's in Boston.
Yep, believe it or not. It's part of Massachusetts, as I understand it, in the United States of America. And at this convention, if you pay $65 today, again, in last day, so if you missed it, you missed it, you get the chance to select a member that you would like to basically have a sit-down one-on-one conversation with. I assume it's only a couple minutes.
Seconds.
Yeah, probably. It's $65 for a chance. I don't think they've specified how much time you get. I haven't looked into it that closely.
No, they have not.
But the people that you can individually apply to have a conversation with are Shirogami Fubuki, Ayunda Risu, Kobo Kanaru, Kaneru, Takanashi Kiara, Heiko's Bells, Magni Desmond, and Noir Vesper. All of them great. All of them fantastic. I'd love to talk to Risu. I'd love to talk to Kiara a lot. She is great. I like her a lot. It's not weird. Don't make it weird.
Rat.
Exactly.
You know, I would just love to have a nice, calm, sit-down conversation with Vesper.
I think it'd be fun to talk to Vesper.
That's the bullshit part is you have to sign up individually. You had to pick which one you gun for. It's like, why are you doing that? Can't I build like... I wouldn't mind sitting down Magni. He's funny as hell. I like him.
Yeah.
But you're making me pick favorites, and that's not fair to my dude.
Yeah. So
And
it's
Vesper's funny AF too.
the way that it's working is it is a lottery system. You apply, and if you're selected, you pay the $65 for that, and I believe it's $65 for a ticket to the convention too. And then, so $130 total. You get to have a conversation with one of the members of Hololive. It's frankly a really interesting opportunity, I'd say.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I can think of this happening. They've done panels in the past at conventions where they've done Q&As and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just generally getting to actually converse with VTubers, at least Hololive ones specifically. It just does not happen. Like,
I have too much anxiety to comment on a stream, let alone like if I say hi and the rat goes, "Hey, I died. I'm dead. That killed me."
Yeah, it's a very strange proposition for people with anxiety, basically.
I bet that's going to happen a lot where like Bay's just going to like freak out, start talking to them, and then the other person's just going to like have no idea what to do.
And then Vesper's gonna hunt them for sport.
This giant Vesper pulls out a spear, starts chasing people.
Magni calls them stupid, no cap.
Sounds right to me. So it's an interesting chance. If you have the chance to take it, I'm glad that you already did or didn't, because again, it's too late. Sorry.
So yeah, I filled it out and it asks for weird shit. It goes like, "Hey, what are your social media handles?" It's like, was Bay gonna watch it? Like double check, see this guy's on the up and up.
I mean, at some point they're probably making sure that you're not a horrifying weirdo.
Oh yeah, like please plug in your YouTube, and they look at it. It's like, that's a pretty thorough review of SpongeBob, dude. You know, I never
4 hours on one episode. I think we're gonna have to not let this guy in.
They probably don't want like people that are just going to be signing up to like hunt for drama too.
Yeah.
To
It's
like
also,
to
like,
stir up trouble.
It's a good anti-bot method because you can't be like have like 5,000 attempts and all of them linked to Moist Critical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, he can meet them if he wanted to. Come on.
I mean, if Callie was there, Critical would be about it too.
But
That's how we're going to get our critical Cali, collab.
That's it. That's what we need.
Oh, hey, Collie. Man, finally I won this little lottery, huh? That's all you like
That's
to do.
what I want to know is, can we record our conversations? Because that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Because then we can have like an actual, like, it'd be really cool, even if it's 2 minutes, to actually have an interview with Kiara or an interview with
I'm
Beth.
going to sit down in front of Kiara and go, my dog died.
Let's go. Oh, Kira.
So I think this would actually be a good way. Like, let's not let this opportunity pass. Carlos,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you're not signing up for the lottery. You get a golden ticket and you can pick one.
Mhm.
Which one of these do you pick?
Out of only the ones from the list.
Yeah, let's narrow it because otherwise, like, which Hololive member would you like to meet? What do you want for Christmas? And what color do you want your unicorn to be? Like,
Yeah, so Fubuki, Risu, Kobo, Kiara, Bay, Desmond, and Vesper.
Oh man,
Or Magni and Vesper.
that's such a tough choice because none of them are exactly my favorites,
Mhm.
but about half of them I would actually like to have a conversation with, including Fubuki if I could speak Japanese.
100%. Like, they have to have a translator for her,
they
I
must.
can imagine.
They
Yeah.
must.
Well, I don't think I could do that even with a translator.
It would be a little more difficult too. And again, I don't know if there is a time restriction. There has to be. There's got to be a time limit. It's got to be a hard limit.
Yeah, there
otherwise-
are people. This is a transaction.
But to actually answer, I would probably say either Bay or Vesper.
Okay, so
100%
let's say,
understandable.
so what do you want to say to them?
Oh man, I don't even know. I'm pretty sure that Bay talks like 10 times more than I do. Like period. Both the amount of
She is
speaking,
very quick, yeah.
both the amount of speaking and volume.
No wonder I like her so much.
That would be tough because she's such a zoomer too, and I just don't relate to that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to relate to her. You just have to talk to her.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Bay, can you explain again about glitter butts? I just don't get it. You know, like-
GameCube?
I just show up with a collection of retro consoles. We don't have much time. I have to show you what these are.
I mean, you appear in the booth like, all right, bitch, start with the Vectrex. Anything before waste of time.
Bring my old Game Boy Color.
This is a Nintendo Entertainment System. This is a Nintendo 64.
Hands off me. Before there were rasterized graphics, the Vectrex. Ah!
Bring a Game Boy Color and attempt to convince her it's an old school smartphone.
There we go.
Oh my God.
You would have a lot of fun with doing that kind of stuff.
So that's what you.
I mean, obviously, like, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to see if I can get to talk to Kiara. I don't know what I'll say to Kiara if I do get the chance, except for, hey, I really like your content. You seem like a really cool person.
Pretend I'm Kiara.
Oh, God. No, it's legitimately like, that's all
Yeah.
I haven't commented on anyone's streams at any point. I don't usually interact in the community, ironically, considering we have a fucking podcast. But
Well, of course, we
I
feel
would
most
really-
comfortable when we talk and we know for sure no one will hear.
exactly. That's why we make a podcast.
Yeah.
So I think that my conversation with Kiara would basically be just me saying like, "Hey, give me like 3 K-pop bands I should look into that you really like." Like,
Damn, that's based.
because I know that's something she's super passionate about and something that she would be interested in talking about, and I guarantee she'd have a list, you know. And then I'd just, generally just be like, "Hey, I super appreciate your streams because they're great, Kiara. If you're watching this for some reason, I really like your streams. They're great. You're pretty much my favorite. Keep going. You're great." And so, what do you say to Bay?
All right. Okay.
As she proceeds to scream back at you, hello.
That would.
Oi!
Yeah, we have no idea how happy that would make me.
I mean, that's all you need, really. It's just the interaction. It's already close enough to interaction just watching a live stream anyway, because you have an option. You have an avenue that you can take to actually talk to them.
Yeah.
You're more likely to get a message through if you spend money, which is kind of like it's that freemium model, But
It's called capitalism, Nick.
I know, I know. But actually having like even 2 minutes of dedicated time to actually just have a conversation as a human and bird, like, or a human and rat, or a human and whatever Vesper is.
Communication.
Like, it's a different feeling, I imagine. It's a different experience, you know, because you have undivided attention for a certain amount of time, and you can actually just like go off on the shit you care about and what you like, you know.
Gosh, I guess I'd say first of all that she's rad. I really think she's hilarious.
I wouldn't have talked to Kiara about Azur Lane. Sorry, go ahead.
I would ask. I think your idea is a really good idea. I'd ask for an anime recommendation, even though, you know, if you watch Chadcast, she talks about what she's been reading and watching a lot.
Mhm.
But I think it'd be really fun to hear what she has been currently digging.
Yeah.
And just have a straightforward conversation, because I can't just go in there and praise her to high heavens, even though that feels like kind of what you have to do. I mean, that's the basis of the relationship as it is at the moment. You watch and praise, and that's the model that's been accepted, if not $5 sent once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. I think, like, honestly, if I could film it, it would be an interview to start off with, and then I'd, like, you know, obviously at some point just be like, all right, now I just want to talk to you, like, real quick. But, like, it's not even like a chasing content thing. I just think it'd be fascinating to actually have a real discussion with her about some things when it comes to VTubing, and, like, not necessarily behind the scenes or anything, but more of like her personal experience and how it's come about.
It'd be really interesting. But this actually brings up something that I think would be a fun off topic.
Mhm.
Have you ever met a celebrity YouTuber person you looked up to? And what was the conversation like?
I met Little Karibo once.
Yeah, and you talked. Little Karibo, first of all, is fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude, really cool guy. I shook his hand. I thanked him for coming to a convention that had 3,000 people at it, at best. And like it was neat because I actually got to be like, I'm sorry I can't buy anything. I already spent all my money. But like I really appreciate you coming to hang out and like do a really fun panel here. We all got to throw snowballs at him at one point. Like again, it was a convention of like 2,000-3,000 people. So it was just really cool to talk to him. And he didn't really say a whole lot, but he was just like, yeah, thanks for enjoying everything. And
Lil
he's just a very friendly guy.
Genuinely a saint of a man. I am always in his corner, always rooting for him. Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridged is still hilarious.
Oh my god!
Every new episode that comes out, it's like higher effort than the one before. Still, dude, how did you do it? How did you fix the Waking the Dragons arc and make it actually good? It was so fucking.
We are now beyond my knowledge.
Okay, watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge first of all. Holy shit, the rest of it's so good.
Don't get me wrong, I watched a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge back in the day.
He stuck with such a hard choice to give the Waking the Dragons villain, don't remember his name, Mandark's voice. It is so obnoxious, and every time I show people the sketches that happen near the end, they lose their shit laughing and begging me to pause it, and I refuse. It's so funny, and the lines are... The man never runs out of wit. This is now a Little Karibo podcast.
Yeah, welcome to
I am
Karibo Cast.
unabashedly ashamed. Carlos, meet any celebrities, have any combos?
I've never met any celebrities.
You met me.
Yeah, he did.
That's all I need.
He hasn't been the same since. How about you? You meet any celebs?
I'm going to talk to... First of all, I have to look up the one just because I want to get his name right because I think he's awesome.
So we're obviously not speaking about like Hollywood celebrities.
Yes, we're talking about weeb celebrities.
We're talking about weeb celebs.
Content creators. Okay.
No, the closest I've ever been is just literally being like at panels. I've
We
never
saw Steve
like
Blum recently.
Oh yeah, met Steve Blum, shook his hand. He fed me birdseed.
Things took a turn. Spike, why are you doing that?
You're safe now.
Don't want.
Tsunami's coming up soon.
Get on the ship. We're going to Mars.
I close my eyes so assured. Thank you, Tom. So I met two, and these are two different examples. One that I felt like I was a weirdo, and one where I felt I did a pretty decent job. I met Kyle McCarley, who is an English voice actor who voiced 9S and is genuinely one of my favorite voice actors, if not actor in general. His performance there was great. Met him for a bit because I was buying an autograph from him because I loved his performance as 9S. And while I was up there, I just got real awkward. Like I did, like, sorry, dude, I'm so nervous. He's like, nah, dude, it's all good. Here, do you know what poster you want? Like, I don't know what poster I want. And he said, look over here. This one's also signed by 2B's voice actress. I went, I like 2B. It's like, here you go, dude. What's your name? I said, Cameron. And he said, with a K or with a C? I said, with a K. He signed it. And I left, and like I was so red cheeked, and I was still cringing. And I'm like, why did I do that? And I looked down. He spelled it with a fucking C. It's hung up on my wall, and every time I look at the poster, I go, he spelled it with a C. It's like the pain hasn't gotten better yet. I still go, he spelled it with a C. That bastard.
What a fucking Chad. What a great
No, I still love
guy.
him. I love him, actually. He's really great. He had a great panel after that, too. He does a lot of improv comedy. He's a funny guy. But after that, good experience I had. And it's actually like a big... I think it's interesting to bring up in the podcast. At MagFest, I met Super Eye Patch Wolf, who is an anime YouTuber. He was talking. He was there for his podcast, Let's Fight a Boss, and while talking with him, it was really good. I said, dude, I'm so anxious. And when he said, like, dude, I am more anxious than you are, I promise. Get over here, let's talk for a second. He introduced me to the rest of the cast. He asked me a fun joke. He was like, hey, all right, icebreaker. What do you think? What's your least favorite part about this guy? And I said, he's putting in a half effort. And they burst into laughter. Like, yeah, that's so right. And the guy said, that's what's good about me. We took a photo. I can't look at the photo without cringing, but I left that realizing, wow, these are really just really nice people. And this is why I bring it up. Their panel about doing a podcast and just having fun with it, that's what led to me messaging Nick saying, do you want to just do a podcast?
Hell yeah. You were the impetus this time.
Yeah.
So this is the third podcast I've made, and the first that I've actually put out on like actual podcast services.
Yeah.
The first one that I made was with a couple friends. It was a video gaming podcast. We put it out on SoundCloud.
Yeah, that's where you get found.
Exactly. I don't know if they still exist. They might be out there. I'm not going to talk anymore about that podcast right now. The second podcast we made 4 episodes of. It was a few years later. Again, video game focused. And then all of those still exist on my YouTube channel, delisted. And that's where they'll stay. They're fine, actually. They were a decent podcast. We had good discussions about video games that were topical at the time. And we just kind of fell apart on that one and then never picked it up again. And that sucks, but that's the way most projects go, unfortunately. And then now this is my third podcast.
But that's
with
what
my
made
friends.
That's what made me so comfortable about that panel is they were talking about, and success for their podcast didn't happen until like their 50th episode where some random E3 coverage they did took off. And they talked about how we literally didn't care if we ever got successful or took off. We just thought this was fun. We'd love to look back at the episodes and remember where we were. We just love doing it. It's really like inspiring to hear someone who is successful, someone that did take off, have them say, I don't care that I was successful. And frankly, I don't care if it vanishes tomorrow. We'd still do the podcast. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fun just to get together for an hour or two, however long it's going to be, once a week and just talk about the things you're passionate about.
And honestly, to some extent, you're hoping you get successful. You're hoping you get sponsored. You're hoping it creates a livelihood.
Yeah.
But it's like there's something good about knowing even if it doesn't happen, we'll keep doing it just because it's fun, just because it's worthwhile, it's satisfying, and Carlos is here.
Yeah, exactly. Carlos holds us together. He's
Yeah,
the fucking glue,
that's
dude.
the main point. Carlos is here.
Well, I know Critical Role has talked about that before too, saying that if they ever, for any reason, just lost everything and got taken off everything entirely, lost their whole business, they would keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, because
At that point, it's just D&D.
dude, when they
Go
started
back to the
doing it,
basement.
it was the guy who was in Full Metal Alchemist. A couple of his friends who are also in other anime and also Full Metal Alchemist. They're just like, you want us to play D&D? Wait, we should film it. But this is like the 10th session. Yeah, we'll just want to film it.
Just go for it. Just
And Oops
start
a
making
Daisy,
it.
most successful franchise on Twitter or Twitch. Both,
Yeah, both.
honestly. Now Critical Role,
It brought D&D to like,
the turbo mainstream.
yeah, tens of thousands at least of new people that were gonna
I'd say
play
it's the
that
first
game.
example of people like to cite Stranger Things. No. That's putting D&D in popular culture. This is the first time D&D emerged from its roots and grabbed culture.
Yeah.
This isn't a shout out to D&D. This is D&D shouting out you, Planet Earth. We'll acknowledge you every once in a while. That's another podcast.
And it's, again, I've never watched any Critical Role, but I am acutely aware of its existence because I have a lot of friends that have been very into it.
I've watched a few episodes when I ran out of other podcasts. They're really charming, but good Lord, I like to see whole stories. I'm sorry, Matt. Matt Mercer, if you'd like to come on the podcast, tell us who your Oshi is.
I love how we're just whoring ourselves out constantly for guests.
Please, come on! I can't do this alone.
I would be willing to bet if you asked Matt, he would actually have an answer.
I don't know what I do.
Go tweet at him.
Matt Mercer comes up.
Listen, one of my friends last week tweeted at Fear Factory and got a response. You can get a response from Matt Mercer. He's no Fear Factory, let's be honest.
Hey, Nick. It's me, Matt Mercer.
Who?
Where can I sit?
Just on my lap, it's fine.
Sure, man.
Do you like to cuddle?
It's been a while.
All right, let's hop off on our final couple topics here. It was Iris's birthday. Happy birthday, Iris, again. Hope birthday. And we're glad that you and Bay had a wonderful birthday.
Okay, fine. I did it. I bought the mouse pad.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, costs almost $100.
Nice.
Let me guess.
Hololive merch is an investment.
So let me guess. It was about $15 mouse pad, $85 shipping, right?
God, how did you know? Nah, it was like the mouse pad was like 30, the shipping was 40. So it's like, what the fuck? So
Shipping
first
from JP is very expensive, which is why actually Callie is really interesting to me right now because she started domestically producing and shipping things from the US.
makes sense.
Oh man, I hope that like the whole EN branch just jumps on that.
Oh, it'd be so good if they would.
Do more concerts in the America.
How they don't have
In Canada.
like a US production and distribution branch yet is confusing to me.
Because they're still wondering, is this going to keep happening? It seems to keep happening.
It's been 2 years. You're on the business. You're
Shut
in the
up, Gura's
business. You
ambassador
are
to Tokyo.
the business.
We heard you, fans. We need more USA representation. They are now appointed to convince you to come to Japan.
Just sell me stuff and ship it at a decent price,
Well,
please.
well, didn't they even only open like their online shop to the United States like
Yeah.
a year ago?
Yeah.
They did.
And
it's a slow process.
And I think it still doesn't ship to Europe like at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Europe doesn't exist according to Hololive.
Yeah. True. So the main reason
PR is existing in the void.
the main reason about the mouse pad was hopefully to bring it to the podcast. It depicts her tofu. Are you familiar with the mannerism, with the way of speaking?
Her boobas.
Yeah, her boobs. She calls it tofu for some reason, and no one else does.
She's an original, and we love her for that.
Oh, Iris. She does so much like self-censorship and then says the strangest, most inappropriate things.
Yabirus.
Yeah, Yabirus.
Every time. Like, she just has a talent. It's amazing that the things that she says without thinking and how just the undertones every time she speaks are insane. But again, she's super entertaining. It's funny.
So super cute birthday stream. Got a lot of people coming on. Like most of council came on. Oh, wait. Crony just joined the Discord chat. What do you got to say, Crony?
Yeah. Crony who just had jaw surgery and cannot talk yet.
Had a private emergency. Still recovering from like extremely invasive surgery on her fucking jaw. Still gets on the Discord. Like, what is Crony? Sleep.
Yeah, go
You've
take
been
a nap.
excused.
Speaking of that, just real quick, I don't remember what it was that they said she did have, but it was literally just that like the movement in her jaw was getting messed up, and like she just had to have surgery. Like apparently it was something that gets worse the longer it goes, and it hinders your actual movement of your jaw. So it's very serious if you don't get it taken care of.
Well, I'm glad that she got it taken care of, first of all, and we all wish her a speedy recovery. Please stop trying to be a part of Hololive right now. Just take a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months off and just rest. Okay, real quick, we're going to hop over to our industry focus this week, which is, of course, Suisei, the best VTuber. I'm sorry, best V singer. I'm sorry, both.
Let me know when you're done.
Okay, so Suisei, if you don't know, I'm not going to go into her backstory. She has a great backstory. Please read up on it. She has struggled a lot in her life and her career, and she has done fantastic things with herself.
There is a very good 15-minute video on YouTube about it. I have literally no idea what it is, but I'm sure if you Google Suisei career history or something, it would probably pop up.
It's your job to do it, not ours.
Yeah, we're only discussing things. But 100%, the most important things to take away from Suisei are the fact that she's a wonderful singer, she's a great person, she's very funny, she's insane, she wants to murder all of us with an axe, and that's great. Her first take video has reached 10 million views, which is insanely impressive. She was the first VTuber to be on the First Take, which is a YouTube channel where they bring musicians in, they have them record something in one take, and they post it. That's it. It's a very popular YouTube channel. Point being, she's done a lot of stuff recently that's very big and very cool. She had a new concert just a month or two ago, Shout in Crisis. It was really fantastic. And just in general, Suisei is a shooting star. She's wonderful. Her fan base are the Hoshimachis, or no, the Hoshiyomis. Her last name is Hoshimachi. The Hoshiyomis are the stargazers in English. And boy, all of us are so very proud of her as her fans. And that's what's important, is that Suisei is doing great things. She's doing big things, and she's awesome. You guys have any input on Suisei?
I do think she's lovely. I do wish I'd seen more of her, but I've seen her around in clips. Never caught a whole stream because, again, she's one of the people who speak Japanese. Unfortunately, that's quite inhibiting.
It is, yes. She also doesn't stream as much as a lot of the other Hololive personalities because she's a V singer. She focuses a lot on her singing career, and there's nothing wrong with it. She just doesn't game a whole lot with folks.
Yeah,
but when she does, it's hilarious.
I'm assuming like a lot of Holo normies, my real introduction to her was Too Many Snacks animation Hi Honey.
Yeah. Oh, she said hi honey in English once, and the internet. Her English accent is like really good,
It's
and so when she speaks in
shockingly good,
English,
yeah.
when she speaks in English, it's always like super, like great and entertaining.
Yeah, I don't know like too much about her actual streaming. I just know mostly about her music side of
I've read
things.
a lot of her music.
Although I do remember seeing the clip from, I don't remember, it's been a while now, but about she's apparently like super good at Tetris.
She is legitimately a god tier Tetris player. I think the only person I've ever seen her beat, the only person I've seen beat her at Tetris was a literal professional Tetris player.
Yeah, I remember watching the clip of her. It was like a 10-minute long clip of her. She was like playing like online Tetris with, it was a group. It was
Tetris 99, I think, is what she
yeah,
was playing at the time.
it was like a 10-man lobby or something. Went on for like 5-10 minutes, and then at the very end of it, she's like, "Oh boy, that person was pretty. They were really good. Like I wasn't actually doing as good as it looked." And then the people in the chat informed her, you were playing with the world's number 2 player, right?"
Yeah. And she managed to hold him off for a little. She like she says in the video, she was using bonuses and streaks and things like that to hold them off, but she did hold them off for a few minutes, and that in itself is amazing. But she is fantastic at Tetris. She's a big fan of that. Just in general, Hoshimachi Suisei, she's a fantastic VTuber. Check her out. Obviously, she's a Gen 0 for Hololive, so she's been around for a while, and she's a big name for a reason.
I mean, she predates Gen 0, actually. If I remember right.
Originally, she was an indie VTuber, yeah, and then they brought her into Hololive.
And she was one of the few that actually kept her original self.
Not only that, she made her original model.
Wow.
I don't know if she rigged it, but I know she made her original model.
That's impressive.
And then she was acquired. She was brought into Hololive at one point as a member of INNK Music, which was a subdivision of Hololive that was literally just her and Ozki. More on Ozki next week. And then both of them got absorbed into just Hololive proper, and then thrown into Zero Gen. I believe it was late last year, actually, or maybe the year before.
It was the subgroup that they were a part of was, I think, just dissolved.
Yeah, so everybody was just brought in. They dissolved INNK Music. But yeah, definitely look up her backstory. I'm not going to try and recount it right now. There's too much of it I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's interesting, and she's worked through a lot. She's done a lot with herself.
Yeah,
like
again, if you've missed an episode, you're not going to understand the next. You have to go back, watch it all.
That's how that works.
Eventually, Kaela is going to be really important in Hololive Endgame.
Just wait for Infinity War.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a moment. We've talked almost exclusively about Hololive this week, which is fine. They're the biggest player in the game right now. I feel like personally, on a personal level, real quick, I need to invest in some Ninja Sanji at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know Salin, she's really great because she did that collab with Ina, I believe, and it's really funny because that was with Ina, right?
Which one?
Salin from Ninja Sanji.
I have no idea.
Either way, they knew each other like before they were VTubers, and they actually applied. There was a story about how they both applied near the same time, but they applied for different agencies. So we'll talk about that later. But either
big
way,
oops.
yeah, small oops. But yeah, I know Pamu Rainpuff from Ninja Sanji. I know a few others, but for the most part, I'm kind of clueless on Ninja Sanji. So I'd like to get into them a little bit and learn a bit.
I'm just at the point where it's like, I never got into any of them really. Like I watched a couple of Neanners. She's not Ninja Sanji, is she?
She's in shoujo.
Yeah. Oh my god. See, like, ignore me. I'm Hololive scum. I'm so sorry. Every time I try, I'm wrong.
Vshoujo is like a whole nother universe on its own.
Yeah. And
Shoujo is EN based
Yeah.
for the most part. They've got a couple JP members now, but.
So if you're watching this podcast and you don't know, like I don't know, this is the educational portion. Join me, and we'll learn together.
Yeah, there's the two major players are Ninja Sanji and Hololive, and then you've got V Shoujo in the US. Vom's Project is another big one. Phase Connect is a group. Yeah, there's a lot out there. Obviously, there's
not
the
more,
world
right?
of VTubers is deep and wide.
That's all the VTubers, right? You just said all of them.
Yeah, Kawaii Project is a
What
thing.
the fuck is that?
You got all the indies, which there's 4 billion.
No,
of.
there are no indies. What?
I like the one that works for Austin Evans. He's a pretty cool guy.
In a
Shout out to you, Ken.
in a perfect world where I didn't have to work, I would watch all of Ninja Sanji too.
I
That's
know,
not
right?
going to happen.
So just to make sure
I can't
draw
keep
the
up with
line.
HoloLive anymore.
Just to draw the line, Muppets aren't VTubers.
Okay, so if you go back to no, we're not diving into that. I just want to say that like we do talk a lot about HoloLive. It's not the intent; it's our experience, and so that's what we're bringing forward.
I genuinely wish that I could get into Ninja Sanji so much. I just don't have the time because I love whenever YouTube recommends me streams and I'm like, hey, I have no idea who you are. You're playing Killing Floor 2 right now.
Ooh,
I want to watch that.
yeah, dude, it's one of those things. Don't you bring up Snuffy?
I just have to check. I just have to see what she was.
I don't know. Is she assigned to an agency? She might be indie.
I think she's indie. I don't know. Affiliation. Independent.
There you go. Snuffy's still indie.
Twitch team Cream Pies.
What?
That's the name of the Twitch team she's on.
Good for her.
All right, that's it. I know Snuffy. She's really funny.
Yeah, Snuffy's funny. But it's one of those things where there's a billion VTubers out there, and we'd love to love you all if you are a VTuber. But it's hard.
If you are a VTuber, you're guaranteed a slot on the podcast.
Yeah, if
we
you-
have made this vehemently clear.
Yeah, honestly, if you are a VTuber, you want to be on the podcast for an episode, shoot us
We
an
are
email.
mad dogs. We will consume any
But-
meat given.
I do want to focus again right now on an indie focus. So let's take it back a moment, and we'll talk about FalseEyeD.
And this is interesting because not just is this an indie VTuber, but as a discussion podcast, we're now discussing someone who discusses VTubers as well.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring FalseEyeD in. So FalseEyeD is, again, as far as I know, independent. Don't think he's signed, but I know he works with other creators on his channel. Cody is another one that's on there that does a lot of the news segments. I know they have a few researchers. I'm apologizing right now because I don't know everybody on the team. But FalseEyeD does informational videos about what's happening this week, this day, however long, the current events and news inside the VTuber atmosphere or the VTuber sphere.
Mm-hmm.
His information and reporting seems to be pretty top notch as far as I can tell.
Okay. Typically, my first experience, my first brush with VTuber coverage has been drama baiting. It's been people going, this hussy doesn't care about your feelings. She pocketed your money and drove a car off a cliff. Stuff like that. And that leaves a really bad taste in my mouth because, as we've discussed before, the hobby of VTubing feels, to some extent, escapist. Like, we're trying not to focus on the ADHD of negative thoughts. This is like a comforting bit of melatonin before bed. This is some warm chamomile tea.
Yeah, YouTube tries to recommend those subsection of YouTubers, and they will. I'm telling the two of you, they will not be named. They're getting zero attention out of this.
We're not naming and shaming, obviously, but yeah. So that's the issue with my first brush. So whenever I'd see FalseEyeD be recommended, I'd go, oh, please. And every time I clicked on it, it's like, yeah, okay, that was okay. I'm not hurt. That was decent coverage.
It's information. It's not drama bait.
He takes an attempt at like a kind of like an idyllic, a platonic ideal of how news should be delivered, which is to say, be neutral. You're going to have bias. Wear them on your sleeves. Like, while he is neutral and talks about VTubers in a neutral tone, there is one bias he has. He is massively pro VTuber.
Yeah,
he's not going to take.
He is a VTuber.
He's not going to take the other side in coverage.
The inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah,
and it is a situation of he's deeply embedded in the community because he's a part of it, and that's part of the perspective that he's bringing forward. He has a lot of access to information. He talks about a lot of different really interesting subsections of VTubing. He doesn't stick to HoloLive like we do necessarily.
Yeah, like he outshines us every time I see one of his videos after we do a podcast. Because full record, I usually don't watch him before doing the podcast. I have just coagulated whatever's going on in my brain, and I watch him. I go, "Oh, this motherfucker's so. Oh my god, I didn't even know
very good.
That's happening. That sounds kind of. Oh, it's like nothing but mad props to him. Like he fucking shows Twitter DMs. He follows Twitters. He gets replies that I didn't even know existed. He phrases stuff really well. He does a good job at not presenting controversy controversially.
Yeah,
which is difficult. It's hard to walk through the swamp and not end up with mud in your boots.
Yeah, he's again very informational. He's got a great newscaster voice as well. I just want to point that out, and just generally creates really good content that is fantastic for updating yourself on what's going on in VTubing.
Yeah. So like in general speaking, I think like this is an obvious easy recommend.
Easy.
But if you had to choose between him and us,
Definitely go him.
comment down below who you choose.
100% check out FalseEyeD if you haven't already. He gets recommended pretty regularly by YouTube's algorithm anyways, but he's worth a shout. And again, like, he's a great way to keep up on current events. I'm going to go ahead and point out that whenever I do use information gleaned from him in the future, I'm going to try and cite him.
Yeah. I think citations in general are good.
Yeah, he's a good way to keep up on what's going on.
You saw, I was already doing that as an effort too. It's like, whenever I'm pulling up the Reddit, I'm going to try to be very painfully obvious about who I'm pulling from and what.
As you should, yeah.
Because, good lord, everyone knows that even posting on Reddit should be a credited act at this point. Because everything we do is a performance at this point. Everything is interactive. Just look up, turn to Bo Burnham for more info.
Yeah, sure.
It's incredible. Like, between comedy sets, he has phrased things better than I ever could. But the whole world's a stage. We're all actors and we're unpaid.
That's the way it goes. All right, let's hop off on birthdays real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Sound like a plan? Sounds like a plan, right? All right.
I'm glad he agreed for me.
Anya Melfiza. Happy birthday on March 12th.
Happy birthday.
Haruka Caribou. Happy birthday again on March 12th.
I've seen Caribou around. Good.
She's a good egg. I like her.
Very cute. I like caribous in general.
They are generally pretty great.
Also known as reindeer.
Monarch, Queen of the Multiverse.
What the actual hell?
March 13th. If you haven't seen Monarch, you have to. She's a professional voice actress. You've heard her before. She's also really entertaining. Just look her up.
I'm
Happy
sure.
birthday.
Happy birthday on the 13th, Monarch. We all bow down, as always. And that's kind of all the names that I'm... Oh, wait. Oro Crony. Happy birthday on March 14th.
Crony.
Happy birthday to you, the Cronester. Also, Daimonji Ryogon is a member of Vom's project, I think. I might be wrong on this one. This probably is going to get cut because I just said this.
You have 5 seconds to correct us.
Nope, he's a member of Vom's project. That's right.
Stays in.
So, happy birthday again on the 14th.
Happy birthday.
Happy
All right.
birthday.
And that's everybody for the next week that I know.
Mm-hmm. If your birthday was not mentioned, you have a 48 grace period to contact us and we'll amend the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Send us. Do we have a Twitter? Tweet at us.
Yeah, tweet at us.
Miyoshino Shiki also looks familiar. That's just, I don't know where I've seen them before, but that's March 14th. Happy birthday either way. Might as well. All right, that's the birthdays coming up for the next week that we know about. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we call it a day?
Sprungus.
Yes.
Sprungus.
Sprungus. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you again soon.
See you next time.
All right. See ya.
On Dragon
Ball. Thank you.
GX.
Fade out. BG.